It's not just crypto. It's every investment, right? There's a famous, I think it was Fidelity study of the best performing stock brokerage accounts. And the best performers were the ones where the people were dead.
Hello, everyone. This is BTC Insight, and welcome to yet another deep dive into BTC Insight. Before we jump in, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't yet. You won't want to miss this. Now, you ask a child growing up today, crypto has always been a part of their world, just as natural as social media, smartphones, or online payments. But if you're an adult new to the space, Hougan suggests starting with something familiar, PayPal or Venmo. Think about why PayPal exists. It's not because its founders were technological super geniuses. It exists because PayPal operates as one database. If you send $100 to a friend, the system just checks your account, reduces your balance, and increases theirs. It's instant because the transaction happens inside one closed system. Now contrast that with banks. If you write a check, your bank and your friend's bank have to communicate back and forth to verify balances. That's why it takes days. Here's the breakthrough of blockchain. For the first time in history, we have one global database that everyone can see, that updates in real time, and that is not controlled by any single company or government.
What is crypto? I'll start by saying that he's grown up with crypto, right? So I've been a Bitwise since he was 4. He doesn't remember when he was 4. So his entire life, this has been as real a part of the world as any other part of the world that he operates in. If I had to explain it to him, where would I start? I think for an 11-year-old, I don't think you can. If I was going with an adult, I would talk about sort of the fundamentals of what a blockchain is and why that's such a unique architecture that enables digital property rights for the first time ever and lets property move at the speed of light. I'm not sure that Dash, my 11-year-old, would get that. Everyone uses PayPal and Venmo, and I think it's the perfect way in. So why does PayPal exist? It exists because it lets us move money instantaneously. Why can it let us move money instantaneously? It's not because Elon Musk is a genius. David Sachs is a genius. It's really something simple, which is just one database. So inside PayPal, if I want to send you $100, it can check and make sure I have $100 and send it to you instantaneously. It just moves a line like in an Excel document. The reason banks are so slow is if I send you a check from my bank, your bank has to check with my bank back and forth to make sure I have the money. So all a blockchain is the first time we were able to have a database, one database that everyone in the world can see, that updates in real time, but that's not controlled by a company. So PayPal is one database controlled by PayPal. A blockchain is just one database that you don't have to trust anyone to control. And that does amazing things. So it lets you move money around the world instantaneously, whereas banks take days. But then maybe more fundamentally, it lets you own a piece of digital property for the first time in history. Because a piece of digital property is just letters and numbers. And if you think about owning a string of letters and numbers, the problem is anyone can copy it. So who are you going to trust to maintain the database that says you own this piece of property? Are you going to trust Elon Musk? Are you going to trust Mark Zuckerberg? Are you going to trust Wells Fargo? With the Bitcoin blockchain, you don't have to trust anyone. And I just think that those are some of the most incredible breakthroughs ever. Digital property and moving money or moving property at the speed of light. I struggle to think of a financial advance in the last 200 years as big as those.
But Julien might still tell you, listen, I'm happy with PayPal or Venmo.
Yeah.
Why should I do crypto?
Yeah. There are lots of reasons that you might do crypto. For one, you don't have to. Not everyone has to do crypto. But for two, from a payments perspective, it's cheaper. But then it has these other incredible benefits, which is, for all of history, money has been controlled by governments, which gives them extraordinary power to inflate it or change it or seize it. And this is the first time we've had the opportunity to have money that was separated from governments. And not just money, but any database where you worry about the person who controls it having too much power, you can recreate that in blockchain. So if you're worried about X and Elon Musk having too much control over that platform, you could have that equivalent, but with Elon Musk removed. And it hasn't changed many people's day-to-day lives, so that you're starting to see that with things like stablecoins. But as a power that you want out there in the world, I think it's we accept so many things. That's one of the incredible things about just stay on stablecoins. We accept so many things as like just the way it is, right? So there's a 2% fee when you buy something. That's just the way it is. It's 8% when you send money abroad. That's just the way it is. When you get a paycheck, your money isn't earning interest. It goes into an interest-free bank account, right? You can't put it to work immediately. That's just the way. It doesn't have to be that way, right? Money could be frictionless. There could be no burden to open a bank account. And I think that's going to substantially change the world in the next probably 3 years. I think it'll be faster than many people think.
Why?
Why? Because we've had 4 years, maybe more, maybe 8 years, where people have been building the infrastructure for this technology, but it hasn't been able to be unleashed into the world because there's been a political divide that separated us from doing that. And so the infrastructure, from my point of view, is actually overbuilt. It's like we laid these fiber optic cables before there was the internet. And so once you pull down that regulatory barrier, I think it can expand so much faster than most technologies do, right? Because most technologies, you need the use case and the infrastructure to grow together. And right now with stables, we've built so much infrastructure, and I think the use cases will be unleashed and catch up pretty quickly.
But understanding the technology is only half the story. Hougan is also very clear about how to invest in crypto intelligently. He points to a famous Fidelity study on stock market accounts. The best performing investors were those who forgot about their accounts, or were literally dead. Why? Because they weren't trading. They weren't trying to time the market. They simply let compounding do its work. Hougan believes the same lesson applies in crypto. Trading individual coins, chasing hype, and trying to outsmart the market is a recipe for disaster. Even the most sophisticated hedge funds in the world struggle to generate consistent alpha. Instead, Hougan's strategy is simple. Buy Bitcoin or a broad crypto index. Hold it for the long term. Avoid the temptation. That's it. Yes, you can allocate a small percentage of your portfolio for speculation, maybe 20%. Hougan admits he does this himself as a cost of learning. But the core of your investment, 80%, should be a patient, decades-long bet on the transformative power of blockchain.
It's not just crypto, it's every investment, right? There's a famous, I think it was Fidelity study of the best performing stock brokerage accounts. And the best performers were the ones where the people were dead. So much of the financial industry, and then crypto has put this on steroids, encourages people to try to trade, try to pick the winners, to pick this asset over that asset. And for me, that's just extraordinarily hard, maybe impossible. And we were talking about it a little bit beforehand. All of investment literature and almost all of the leading lights in investing from the traditional finance space said you shouldn't do that. You should just buy an index fund. I have a view that trading alpha, which is to say like picking and choosing winners, is a fake story. It's virtually impossible.
Why does that story exist though?
Oh, because it's so tempting. And because the narrative is so loud. Because if you take 100 traders and they're making effectively random trades, 5 or 10 of them are going to blow the doors off. And they're going to become extremely wealthy and they're going to shout their story from the rooftops. And then 90% are going to lose their shirt. And they're not going to tell you they lost their shirt because that's not what people do, right? They just keep quiet. So you hear from the 10% and you don't hear from the 90%. And I just think it's the hardest thing in the world to do. You have the most sophisticated hedge funds in the world. I know you're a smart guy, but are you really going to go up against the most sophisticated hedge fund in the world.
We all tried.
Of course we all try. And even I try on the edge. But my view is there is one major source of alpha in the world. And that's actually big picture alpha, based mostly on behavioral biases. So when I look at crypto, whatever alpha I have, like the alpha that I got joining Bitwise 7 years ago and focusing on crypto, was just a simple insight, which was the world has this wrong, that crypto is going to be more important in the future by a factor of 10 than it was when I joined. That's probably off, probably by a factor of 50. And the reason the world has it wrong is sort of classic behavioral biases, anchoring bias. People are inherently skeptical of digital things. They probably first heard about crypto from a negative story, like Mt. Gox or Silk Road, etc. And so they're biased way over here. Whereas if you look at the actual data around crypto or you understand the technology, it's somewhere over here, right? It's pretty good to great. And that is the alpha. If you then try to pick and choose between there, really hard. But if you feel confident in this view, then all you do is you buy these assets and you hold them. And then you continue to hold them. I think there's some advantage in screening out assets that are terrible because crypto is an unregulated space. And so I think there is maybe some negative screening that you can do. But with 90% of my portfolio, it's just buy and hold Bitcoin or buy and hold an index of the top assets and just wait. If I do that 20 years from now, I think my family will be happy with that result.
What do you tell someone who says, "But I don't want to wait 20 years"?
Yeah. Well, I mean, good luck. I mean, right? But look, we all have a part of our portfolio that doesn't want to wait. I do too. I consider that like a cost of learning, and I expect to lose money on it. And so I think the classic like answer for what you should do is 80-20 it. Put 80% of your portfolio in this 20-year bet, and then speculate to your heart's content on the other 20%. But there's no easy pathway to massive wealth. It just doesn't exist. And I think that's the it's tough in crypto because there's so much noise around that, but I think that's the reality.
There's no easy way to. There's no fast way to easy wealth. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys. I didn't say it. He said it.
I'll share one other fact. I'm the CIO at Bitwise. I'm not close enough to sort of the insider path on crypto to know enough to outperform the market, right? And I'm in a relatively privileged position, and there's just no way for me. So there are people out there who will do it, but it's not for me.
Crypto isn't about hype, quick trades, or chasing the next meme coin. It's about a once in 200 years breakthrough, the ability to own and transfer digital property without relying on middlemen. It's about reimagining money and finance in a way that removes friction, lowers costs, and empowers individuals over corporations and governments. And as investors, Hougan reminds us of a timeless truth. Wealth is built not by constant trading, but by identifying transformational opportunities early, committing to them, and letting time do its work. So whether you're just beginning your crypto journey or you've been here for years, the lesson is clear. Understand the fundamentals, invest wisely, and think long-term. That's it for today's look into BTC Insight. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to stay on top of all the latest insights. Keep questioning, keep learning, and we'll catch you in the next one.